Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Continuing our exciting adventures in Saltmarsh. So, as with many PCs visiting towns for the first time, you have definitely made this place worse than when it was before you got here. But they still need you to save it, so like they got to take what they can get. So, what needs doing prior to the meeting? So let's assume the meeting is like at dusk tomorrow, like when all the ships are back and everyone's daily business is attended to. What do you want to do between now and then? You
I
can
was hoping
stay
to
at the
meet up.
estate, or you can sleep in the grave hole.
I was hoping to meet up with as many of these council people as I can
Okay.
during the day. Um, First and foremost, Manistrad, because Jewel said she was dealing with Eleander.
Okay.
Uh,
All right.
so,
Did you still want to delegate other ones of them to the other members of the party?
yeah,
Or...
if you guys want to take on some of this stuff, then I'm more than happy to.
I think it would be funny. We'll see how far I can get until I have to roll a dice, and then it goes badly.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like we meet up in the morning. I suppose like the whole team.
Yeah, breakfast.
Like, do we meet up with Makaria as well somewhere? Like,
Yeah, I don't know, Makaria. When do you meet up with your friends again?
Yeah, that's a question because I'm assuming that at one point, what's his butt came back with what's his butt, and that's a whole situation we can deal with.
No, I think Orth leaves and doesn't come back because he's a teenager and eventually he's like, "Fuck, I gotta go home."
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like if this is just a basement with mattresses on the floor and there's not alcohol, then Makaria probably eventually there is.
Yeah.
And Makaria just drinks herself into a stupor, and then in the morning,
Okay.
probably has like oh yes, there was a whole task that we were supposed to accomplish or something. Like, is there any way that I could know where they were? I guess that guy lived in that place, and I knew about that.
Out where he lived, like
Yeah,
while you were still on the tour. So
yeah. Yeah, maybe like in the morning there's like a very drunk Makaria who's being told to wait while someone is summoned to approve that she's actually allowed inside the building.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so you leave Sister Pia, who also gets really drunk. Pia likes doing that like see if you can stab without stabbing yourself in the hand game.
Yeah.
She's pretty good at it. She's got like a log down there she practices on. And yeah, she's passed out on the floor somewhere, and you wake up and you leave to go meet your friends. Are you still dressed like a pirate?
I mean, I probably have my stuff with me. I could be back in my regular clothes.
Okay. All right. So you're back in regular outfit. All right. So yeah, that morning then, probably Rin, Jewel, and 8 are like at the breakfast table with Anders, and the butler comes in, and he's like, Lady Makaria Rada to see you.
It's Rada.
And he turns and he's like, my apologies, ma'am. And Anders stands up and he's like, good. Everyone's here. Welcome. There's still some food if you're hungry. And he gestures. The table's like he overdoes it really hard, right? Like there's just like way more food than even 5 of you could eat.
Likes having guests. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and like the nobility does this, right? Where they're like, it's dinner. It's a dinner for one. Here's like 7-course meal. And you're like, a grape and a piece of turkey and throw it all away. Thank you.
Yeah, part of the showing off your money is knowing that you can waste shit.
Yeah,
and
throw it into the sea, would you? So there's all this food like laid out, and Makara, you all see her arrive.
Hello.
Join us. We were about to talk about the plan for the upcoming day, I suppose. There's a meeting happening this evening, and I'd like to get in front of it if we can.
A meeting?
Yes, everybody important in this town has some kind of war council going on.
About those shark people.
Yes, to do with the sahuagin.
I suppose that's something we will have to deal with.
That was the reason that we came here.
Right. Well then. And she just goes to like the table and like starts picking at food because like while she's like rich people having things that they own, she's also really hungry.
Mm-hmm.
So we have. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Dave.
I was just going to do a silly bit. Would Jewel do like the cat thing where you can flick them bits of food and they try and catch it and eat it? Because I would need to find something to entertain themselves. I was just wondering if she would be into that.
You know what? For most people, no. But for 8, yes. Jewel genuinely likes 8.
She's willing to test her reflexes for 8.
Yeah. And so if 8 presents it in a way that seems amusing to Jewel, she will definitely oblige.
It's like the little goal game. Like you have to do.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
but with food.
flicking like bits of bread at you.
Her initiative's good.
Rin is abhorred by your table manners, but that's, it's neither here nor there.
Whatever.
She like catches it out of the air.
So, we have 4 names and 2 unnamed members of this council that I'd like to hopefully get some kind of conversation with before we actually go there.
And what do you want from them?
I want to know what their general outlook is on this situation, what to expect them to argue going into this meeting, their stance on what kind of response this sahuagin threat requires.
Does anyone speak sahuagin?
No.
No.
And no one,
Anders is like, I didn't realize they even had a language.
and no one has any intention of asking them why it is they're attacking in the first place.
Of course, I chose not to take tongues, so.
And Anders he scowls and he says, No, you don't understand. These things are voracious. They're horrific. They're monsters. It's not about making a decision to attack. They wiped out most of the lizardman tribes in the north, and now we're next on the list. It's not about making a decision. It's about a primeval hunger. We're just dinner for them.
There it is. So we
I mean,
have.
that seems unlikely. They probably don't need that much food.
It's not about need. I grew up here in Saltmarsh on the sea, and it's about frenzy, like a shark. Once there's blood in the water, it doesn't matter if they need more food.
Have they always done this? Or is this the first time you've had conflicts with them?
They stayed in the waters north of here. The lizard
Isn't that
folk
where the
were
mine is?
holding them off. The mine is towards Waterdeep.
I just I'm not, generally a warmonger or anything. But most of the time things change because something changed, right? So there's no real way to deal with the problem unless we know how the problem.
Which is why we need to talk to these council members, because they may have some insight as to what has changed or what is different or what may have made the situation a certain way or any of that sort of thing.
And you really think that those men will know more than this one?
Yes.
Okay.
Probably. I say no offense.
No, none taken. None taken. I'm a moron. I don't know anything.
If we only speak to them at the meeting, then we'll only get the public-facing meeting view on whatever it is that they want to do, or we'll only get what they'll say in front of everybody else. But what we want is what they know about things that maybe they wouldn't want to talk about on this council, but to us outsiders may be useful information for us to help them with.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
Yeah.
so you think that they would lie at the council?
Yes.
I think that everybody lies on councils. And I've seen thousands of council meetings.
Oh, I haven't really.
Thousands.
What's the point then?
It doesn't make much sense.
It's this part in between that's the important part. The council itself, less important. It's this part we're about to do.
Then why have a council in the first place?
Because that's what is done!
Mm-hmm.
If we can convince them to speak differently on the council here than what they would...
And so we want them to war against the sahuagin so that we can kill all of the shark people, right? I look at 8. Is that what we're going for?
What are the shark people?
The what?
Are they different?
No,
I thought the sahuagin were the sharks.
That's the same, yes. We're trying to convince the council of non-sahuagin to fight the sahuagin so that they can stop massacring everyone or whatever.
Yes, defend their lands. from
Okay.
being killed. I thought
So
this-
why would this be an issue? Shouldn't they want to not die? Most people do.
It's about measure of response and about who's blaming who, though. Because if some of these people don't agree, then they may not be able to marshal the resources together with the others to get things done in a direction that would actually be helpful, like building defenses or setting up for an attack or whatever it is. I'd also like to get the measure of what exactly the threat is, other than there are sharkmen and they're going to attack us, because that seems pretty cut and dry. But I'm sure, without a doubt, that there is something else that someone knows about that we should know about.
Yes,
Right.
there was a priestess of Umbally that I came across
And
when I
it's-
went out to the island. She may be whipping them into a frenzy.
You're like
There's
that,
also a druid
Something
that
like
lives
that.
in the north.
that
sorry, the
shady, that
Zords.
shady Triton.
Yeah.
You said there's
Yes,
a
the druid.
nearby as well?
The Merkelites told me about him. Evidently, he shooed them out of his forest or whatever.
Are druids? Well, a druid might be useful to talk to because they'd actually know the lay of the land around here, theoretically. So they
Mhm.
might know what has gone awry. That
I could
also-
talk to him.
That could also be someone to add to the list. Yes, Makaria, you speak to the druid. Perfect. We have 4 names on this list, plus 2 that I don't know the name of because they're the ones negotiating for the lizardmen or from the sea creatures that aren't the sahuagin. So the names we have are Eleander Firebreath, Manistrad, Copperlocks, Yellen Primewater, and Ada Oland. Eleander, you said you were going to deal with Jewel, so I hope you're all right talking with the captain of the guard. And
right.
also look into any past documents.
Oh, for sure.
That may lead us to some kind of conclusion about what has happened.
Mhm.
We're also specifically looking, and if I were you, I would look for specifically anything magical that may have occurred, like druid councils or visiting clerics or
Mhm.
a wizard that set up their shop locally and things have gone strangely since then, that kind of thing.
Or a dragon leaving
Or
the
dragon.
Waterdeep harbor and coming up here and taking the territory of the sun. Oh no.
Oh no.
That could also be the case, but I'm hoping not. So there's that for Jewel. 8, I don't know which direction you want to take on this. Of course, you're welcome to take one of the names off the list, or there's the lizardmen or the sea.
Right, you don't know where those are.
But I
though.
don't know where to go for those,
Yeah.
so it's sort of a wild.
Probably not a noble. They don't seem to like me very much.
Then, do you want to take the dwarf, Copperlocks, the mine administrator?
You are also the only one that speaks Dwarven.
That's true. I do
True.
speak Dwarven.
Good point.
Happy
All
to
right,
do that.
I cede my choice to you, and you speak to the dwarf.
You get to speak to nobles, Rin. Have fun with that.
I mean, of all of us, really, who should be speaking to them other than me?
Yeah. Oh, you.
All right, so Gillen, Primewater, and Ada Oland, I'll try and deal with.
Okay.
So on. All of this is in front of what's his name as well, Anders.
Mhm. Yeah, and he's just like watching like a
Organization.
tennis match, watching you all talk. And he's just like, this is very interesting.
All right, perfect. We have our plans. This evening will be when the meeting convenes. So deal with whatever you want to deal with during the day. Speak to whoever you need to speak to, and we'll reconvene here before the meeting, and then head there. Sound good?
At what time?
I looked at Anders like.
I mean, it actually
Okay.
doesn't matter. Like
Yeah, right.
cinema
Yeah,
time.
plot, the
Asking
plot.
a question like when doesn't like I'm gonna be like 4 o'clock, and it's like, oh, I better check my watch. Like it doesn't fucking matter. You go there when you go there.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's a question that a person would ask, but not a character in a game. It's just like how people on TV never say goodbye when they hang up the phone. They're just like, "I'll see you there," and you're like, "Oh, we didn't plan like when or any of that." Which McDonald's?
There's like a shot of him sitting there at like a phone booth reading a book. Like, oh god.
Yeah. All right, where should we begin? Rin, maybe where do you go?
So I have Gillen Primewater and Ada Oland to speak to.
Yeah. Which one do you want to talk to?
Primewater was the guy yelling at his his boat.
Yes, old man yells at boat.
Yeah, and then Oland was where?
I don't know. You haven't. The Oland estate is the other one. This one, I think.
Yeah. So that's closest. So I think I would go there first.
Okay. Yeah. So you just go across the street.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I'm sorry that what I've done here is split up every person into
Okay.
their
Everybody can have like a scene where they talk to a person.
directional scene.
That's fine.
We
So
played
you-
Burning Wheel for like
Yeah, we'll just do a burning wheel
The whole
style
campaign was
set
like
of
that.
situation here.
So you just cross. You go down the hill, across the back between those two buildings, and then over to this big shackled, like ramshackle, slapped together, fancy house. Yeah.
So is there like some kind of door knocker or something like that? I just the
Mhm.
door a little bit.
Okay. All right.
And then I pose in my most like imperious, like straight backed fancy person
Mhm.
look.
A servant opens the door, and she sees you, and she says, "Can I help you with something?"
I'm here hoping to meet with Ada Oland before the convening this evening.
Do you have an appointment?
No appointment, but I think she'll want to see me.
And who are you exactly?
Rin Stillwater. I am a visitor from Waterdeep who is here to help with the sahuagin issue.
Just a moment. She closes the door. Make a persuade check.
You got it.
If you fail this, she just never comes back.
Yeah.
Just a moment. Click. You hear the lock.
10. I rolled a 1 at him.
Critical fail. So I think that's what happens. You just hear the door shut.
Fail skill check. It's still a 10.
It's still fail. Yeah. So the door is shut in your face, and she doesn't come back. She's just like, "I'm sorry, you're not important enough. I don't know you." Door just closes. How long do you wait before you knock again?
Maybe like 5 minutes.
Okay. So you knock again, and the door opens. It's the same servant. She looks at you, and she's like, "Oh, you're still here. Well, the
Still
lady of the
waiting.
house doesn't have time to meet with you anyway, so be on your way."
The lady of the house might have time to meet with me for, say, 3 gold in your hand.
She scowls. Make a persuade check.
24.
All right, you get the best of her, and she's just like, "Fine." Puts her hand out.
I gave her 3 gold.
She takes it. She's like, "The Lady Oland is very busy, so let's keep this brief." And so she leads you through the house. The inside of the house is actually pretty unassuming. It's much less fancy than the house you spent the night in. It looks like it has also, like, in the past had people kind of like come and go from it, but it doesn't have the sort of dusty sadness that the other house does. Like, people stay here and they leave and they come back, and like it looks like it's well lived in.
It's more well lived in, but it's
Yeah.
less fancy.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing.
And eventually, yeah, you're led through the halls to a door, and the servant knocks on the door and goes inside. She looks at you. She's like, "Wait here." She goes inside. You can hear the sounds of a brief conversation, but none of the words. And then she comes back into the hall, and she says, "Fine, but be quick." And she opens the door and gestures for you to go inside.
I go inside.
Okay. All right. So inside, there's a big desk. There's a taxidermied fish of some kind, like a tuna or something up on the wall. There are nautical maps all over the place. There is a globe, and there's like a bookshelf jammed with books, like sideways, and like it's all very like cluttered. The room smells of pipe tobacco and salt air. The window is open and there's a breeze blowing in, so it also smells like fish. Sitting at the desk, there is a woman who probably when she was younger was taller, but she is slowly like shrunk as she's gotten older. She has gray hair, cut short, and she's lined and tanned. Like she's someone who spent a lot of time outside and still does. She has just like a plain kind of like blouse on, and she's sitting at her desk, and she doesn't even look up from the book that she's reading. She just says to you, "So, you bribed my servant to get in. Must be worth something to you. What do you have? What do you have to say?
Well, I was hoping that we could speak about the sahuagin problem that the War Council is convening to, what would you say, discuss.
She looks
tonight.
up at you and she's, by way of interrupting, slams the book shut. And in the moment after she takes over your mid sentence, she says, "I know what you're talking about. There is no sahuagin problem."
Now, you see, I've heard differently from several people since we got here, and this is exactly what I was hoping to engage with. Why would they lie?
Any conversation you might have overheard about sharkmen or sahuagin or sea goblins or any kind of impending doom coming down from the north is all just hearsay and rumor and not at all backed by any kind of fact that would be available to anyone outside of the council. So you'd best remember that before you start going out in my town and running your mouth and getting everybody all frothed up in a panic.
Oh, you misunderstand. I haven't spoken to anyone other than the one up the hill about
Right.
this.
You've spoken to Anders. You've spoken to me. And from what I hear, your friends are out in the town speaking to the other members of the council as well. Which I have to say to you, the reason that we bring a council together is to have a private conversation about these things behind closed doors.
But a private conversation between 7 people is never a private conversation that goes the way that any private conversation actually goes. This is a private conversation. That is an announcement.
See, I don't know you, stranger. And so this doesn't feel like a very private conversation to me. It feels like someone coming in here who wants something from me. Somebody who doesn't understand my town. Some big shot from Waterdeep.
I mean, we were told that you needed help. We came here to assist. Now, if you don't want that assistance, then by all means, like, I have other places that I can go and other things that I can do. But there are people in your town who are already scared. There are people in your town who are already looking for assistance outside of your council. And I'm hoping to be that person who makes sure that all the people in this town don't die.
We've dealt with your kind before. Adventurers.
All due respect, you've never dealt with me before.
That's true. I haven't. I don't know you from anyone. So what reason do I have to think you're going to be any different than the last batch of glory hounds that came up here? Sure, they were useful, but then when we need them, they disappeared. So what? You and your friends are here to save Saltmarsh? Is that it?
Well, I'm here to make sure that people don't die when they don't have to.
Right, in exchange for a princely sum of gold or salvage rights or something like that.
The usual experience, yes.
Well, I don't know why you're talking to me. This is a council matter.
You're on the council. I'm speaking to you because I'm hoping that that council would be open to listen to the things that I have to say and to assist me with helping them achieve their goals, making the town safer. A war council is because something is going wrong. You don't have a war council because, oh, we just feel like convening the conflict council today. So I'm here to war.
Well, you're a bit early. The meeting's tonight, so anything you have to say, you can say there.
Right. Well, this has been illuminating. Thank you. And then I leave.
Yeah, she just kind of gestures like, please see yourself out. Okay.
In the doorway,
Mhm.
on my way out, I go, you know, I'm not just some nobody. We found Never Ember's gold. We brought more than our fair share of it back to the city. Our group has a reputation for helping places a lot larger and a lot more subsumed in trouble than this one.
Sounds like Waterdeep solutions to Waterdeep problems.
And we'll see how they apply to yours. And then I leave.
Okay. Cool. All right. Meanwhile, who?
Perhaps you've heard of the dungeon.
Yeah. We've fucked many dungeons from here to Neverwinter and back. So in the meantime, while Rin is butting heads with Ada Oland, Makaria, are you going to speak with somebody?
Yeah, I was gonna go see the druid in the woods.
Okay, good, excellent. All right, let's see how that goes.
I think you used the wrong verb. Don't you mean I'm gonna go kill the druid in the woods?
I didn't say that exactly.
Okay, so let me find the location map here because the druid's not on the council or anything. You're just going to hassle him.
I mean, I thought that Rin said something that he might know something about something.
Yeah, he might be important, but that doesn't mean that he's like.
Yeah, he's not on the council.
He's not
no.
a council member. I think I closed the thing. Let me find it.
Sorry.
Maybe he'll join and not take XP from us in the battle.
That's not how that works. Let's see.
No, just kill him. That seems fine. We don't mind.
Locations in Saltmarsh. There it is. Okay, so the Druid's Woods are 29. What's the name of the nature god in the Forgotten Realms? Sylvanus, I think. Myliki is the ranger god.
Sylvanus is one of them.
Sylvanus is like the main druid dude because he's not a worshiper of Malar or anything.
Yeah, Malar would be a weird pick.
No, Obadhai is not the Forgotten Realms. Obadhai is Greyhawk.
Yeah, it's Sylvanus.
It is.
Yeah,
Sylvanus.
it will be Sylvanus.
All right. Okay. So
So Malar would be sick.
Or Eldath, apparently.
Eldath is like a peaceful one, yeah.
A Neverwinter druid. Was
So you, Makaria, you head back towards the abandoned house thing, and it's all collapsed and whatever. It's the same as when you left it.
Right.
And then there's just woods. There's just like a grove of woods.
What's her butt said that the druid shooed them off when they tried to burn down the woods, right?
Yeah. He basically just like, get off my lawn, you filthy kids. Like, he's the old man of the woods.
Well, I don't have the ability to burn down anything. Can I ask Pia where it was that they encountered the druid?
Pia is not home. Nobody is in the grave right now.
Okay.
Except the one she killed earlier.
No, she's in the woods. They chucked her body into the woods.
Yeah. So, I at least got like a vague direction of like where I saw them chucking. Like,
I mean, you could just go walk into the woods.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is I'm just gonna kind of like go in and be like, well, at the very least, I can check out my fresh corpse.
Just start setting fire to things, and the druid will just be like, "Hey."
So what are you doing? You're going into the woods to try to find the druid, or
yeah, and I think that I would be using, because I have like my wisdom's like pretty okay, so and I've used tracking and survival stuff before.
Yeah.
So maybe I like go into the woods and then just try and see if I can see where anyone's passed or
make
like
a survival check.
Okay. I get a 22.
Nice. Okay, so in the woods, there is actually there's like a grove. So as you wander the woods, you find that there are like animal paths and stuff that lead to somewhere in the center of the woods. There is an open grove, and as you approach it, you see that there is a small stone shack at the edge of the grove. And to any normal person, after like an hour of hiking through the woods, any normal person would find this like relaxing, like, ooh, what a peaceful place. There's like birds twittering in the trees and whatever. And there's this little hut and smoke coming up out of the chimney and whatever. There's like a little pond. But I don't know, you probably don't feel that in this place. But yeah, you find this. This little grove.
Hello there. Anyone around or whatever?
How are you just across the grove from the house? You're just saying.
I mean, I like walk out into the clearing.
Okay. There's no one here. You don't see anybody. I mean, there's like a fire going on in the house, but.
Right. Well, I go up to the door. Is there a door or is it just an opening?
There's a door. It's like a house. It's a little house.
Right. I'll knock on the door.
Okay. You like knock on the door. You hear a low croaking sound from the pond nearby. You look over and this big fat green like bullfrog sitting on a lily pad. Just croaks at you.
Cool.
Are you the druid?
Brrr.
I don't have speak with animals prepared.
Just croaks at you again.
Hello, and I knock on the door again.
Okay. All right. So there's a voice behind you, even though as far as you knew, you were like just out in the open. And the voice says, "Oh, I'm afraid there's nobody home."
And I turn around.
Yeah. You see a bearded man, tan skin, kind of long gray beard, wearing like hides. He's got a staff and like a big like felt hat. He's kind of like looking at you. These like sea green eyes, and he's got a smile on his face. You can see it even under his beard.
Are you the druid that, well, I mean, lives here?
I am. Yes. What tipped you off? Was it the house in the woods? It's the beard, isn't it?
The hide.
He nods.
I was sent to ask if you had any information about this sahuagin problem. I don't know if you leave your woods or what have you, but
Not often, but I hear the words the earth has to say, and I might know a thing or two. Why don't you come inside for some tea? And there's a croak, and he scowls, and he's like, "That's very rude, Loris. I think she's a nice girl. We can have some tea, can't we?" And the frog like, "Brrr." And he's like, "Right, well then you're not invited."
right. Sure. Yes. I mean, I've been trekking about for long enough. I'm quite thirsty. Do you have anything alcoholic to put in the tea?
And he squints, he shakes his head, he says, "Oh no. It's too much effort. I have some, well, we're here for a conversation. Come inside. I'll make tea." And he opens the door and goes inside.
Sure. I'll follow in, yeah.
Loris, the frog, just fucking shoots daggers at you with his eyes. He just looks at you like, "I swear to God, I will murder you." As you walk inside. Okay, so you go in. The inside is what you'd expect from like a druid's hut. It smells like drying flowers. It smells like herbs. There's like stuff hanging from the rafters. He has a little cauldron going with something in it. And and so you come in. And he walks over to the cauldron, get some water, and like he's attending to making tea. And he says, "Sit down wherever you like, if you can find room. I don't get guests that often."
Right. Is there like an empty chair or anything, or just like
He's got some like logs that he's turned up on their side that you can kind of move some stuff off.
Yeah, she like perches on one of them.
Okay.
Is trying to channel Rin, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, we were summoned to help deal with this issue.
Oh, who's we?
Myself and my friends. But I find that not knowing what's causing the problem really makes solving it difficult,
So you're here to solve our little sharkman problem.
I suppose.
And he turns around, he's got some tea in like clay, mismatched clay cups. And he looks at you and he says, "That's an interesting outfit." He hands you a tea.
I could say the same about you.
But I'm dressed like a druid. This is what people expect to see. And he hangs his hat up on a peg. He says, "But you, I've seen clothes like that before."
Yes, you would have when those faux Merkelites tried to burn down your grove.
What's the difference between a real Merkelite and a fake one?
Well, a real one gets power from their god, I assume, and the fake one pretends to.
Oh, is that how it works? So the folk that come to my grove and they plant trees to honor Sylvanus, or the hunters that say a prayer to Maliki before a hunt, their faith isn't real.
I guess I never thought about it.
There was a time Merkel had a place in things. People
I would say that he still does.
But it was different back then. Death is a part of life. Not special, not set apart from it. Nothing to be afraid of.
I
I
agree.
know that it's easy to respond to the unknown with fear, but, well, they're just bones. We've all got them. He, like, taps on his skull.
Yes, well, most people seem to think that dying is some huge issue that they need to solve.
Well, can't accomplish things if you're not alive, right?
What's the point
Can't
of
plant
accomplishing anything?
trees, can't hunt elk, but well, death comes in the end for everybody. Some people just have a hard time with that, I guess.
I suppose.
So is that why you're here then?
The sahuagin.
And he kind of scowls and like looks at you. He's like, "You don't have to lie. You're not here out of the goodness of your heart."
No, I'm not.
And it's not for the reward, I think. Plenty of
No.
opportunities for that down south.
I've never met anyone who worshipped Merkel aside from myself.
Mhm.
I wish to see how they did it, and I was sorely disappointed.
That must be a hard feeling. Feeling alone like that.
I'm used to it.
Now, solitary life's not so bad. If you choose it. Everybody needs friends.
I have friends.
Oh, but... Well, didn't you make a point of saying how they're not your friends?
I didn't say that to you.
He smiles. Ah, small town like this. Word gets around.
Are you intending to do something with the words that have gotten around to you?
It depends on which ones you mean. Right now, all I intend to do is have tea. Like, takes a long, like...
Do you know anything about the sahuagin or not?
He nods. Reckon I do.
So,
What do you
I'll
want to know?
why is it that they're suddenly deciding that their bloodthirsty hunger be aimed at the people in this town?
Oh, not so sudden, I don't think. Just Saltmarsh wasn't listening before.
Listening to what?
Couldn't hear. Well, see, these sahuagin, they, well, Saltmarsh isn't their first victim. And now we know. But it feels like it's too late. Like this is happening all of a sudden. Lizardmen could have told us. Months back. Been going on a long time. Just we're next in line. Sometimes that's how nature makes them. You know, these creatures, they're not chimera, no manticores, not made out of magic or evil, just made hungry. They got a purpose, I guess, but sometimes, world of man, place like Saltmarsh, you got to fight back. You want to keep it. I prefer not to see those villagers killed, but it's in the sahuagin's nature. They're hungry. They're going to stay hungry unless we do something about it.
If you were given the power to do something about it, what is it that you would do? Would you kill them all?
You ever had pets? Like a dog or a cat or something?
Makaria thinks about her zombies and says, of a sort.
Right. So your pet does something bad. Maybe piddles on your rug. Sometimes you got to swat him on the nose. Teach him who's boss. Figure maybe that's what these folks need. Good swat
Just-
on the nose. A little reminder they can't just eat anybody because they feel like it. Sometimes, just because we can kill, doesn't mean we should.
I suppose that's sort of similar to what I would do. make them afraid, and then they'll leave us alone.
Oh, these things, they don't know fear, only hunger, satiety. It's not that they're going to be afraid. They just got to know better. Like a dog chasing a porcupine. Gets a mouthful of needles.
That it would hurt too much for them to try and eat here.
That's right. Find safer prey someplace else. How? That's just the thing of it. They breed too fast to wipe them out, and I wouldn't want to. And, well, we just got to make them someone else's problem for the time being. Teach them a lesson.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You,
And I would request that the things that you might have heard or seen at the edges of your grove earlier this last night remain quiet.
and he scowls and he kind of tugs his beard a little. He's like, well, that's the thing, isn't it? I saw that girl last night. Those two boys leaving her in the woods. Folk are gonna come calling, ask questions.
People die.
They do, but not always like that. Now, you're just a stranger here, so you can just pack up and leave anytime you like. But that girl, Pia, she's troubled. She doesn't need to be troubled anymore. Still a way we can turn that girl around, but not if you're pushing her the way you are.
Why would I want to turn her around? If she worships Merkel, then
She's
it
only
just
scared.
benefits me.
Scared and bored. Doesn't have to turn out like that. He gives you a long look and he says, there must have been some point for you. Some kind hand could have turned things around for you too. Just think on it.
Well, if I do hear something about all of that, I'll pay you another visit.
Are you trying to threaten him?
Yeah.
All right, make an intimidation check.
Oh no. Makari is so stupid.
Whoa.
I get a 7.
Okay. So he, I think he cast Druidcraft.
Okay.
And you hear the sounds of like wood creaking and like vines, like as if the house is being constricted. And suddenly he seems really big and you feel really small.
So it's like Gandalf.
He
in the
Gandalfs you. Yeah, he
Yeah,
stands up and he says to you, death is only one aspect of nature, girl. It may come at your beck and call, but I've got all the rest at mine. Don't try to push me.
Aw, shit.
Yeah, and he stands up and like stares down at you, and then it like fades, and it's like the nice old man again, and he says, I hate to have to do that, but, well, and he scowls. He says, I got a town to think of. Now, hurry along, your friends are going to be missing you.
Right. Well, if the time comes.
Let's hope it don't.
And she like gets up and finishes her tea and will probably just
Okay.
skedaddle.
Yeah, so you walk out, and the toad just like,
I fucking see you, man.
yeah, just like,
Loris
stares
is-
at you.
Loris knows.
Yeah, and so the druid comes out and he looks at Loris, and then Loris like at you as you walk by, and you don't hear this, but we stay with him, and he's like, well, you weren't wrong, Loris. She's trouble. And the frog like he's like, plenty of trouble in this world. And he like burps again. He's like, as far as I remember, you were trouble when we met. And the frog like makes a sad noise. He's like, all right, come on, boy, let's go inside. He like picks him up, like he's like football size. Picks him up under his arm, and goes inside. Cool. So while Makaria is doing that, Jewel, we'll move down the line. Jewel, what are you up to?